was like, okay, that was good. I think it'll get better. How's it going, everybody? Today we're doing something maybe a little bit different, maybe a little bit similar if you've watched a previous video. Today we are talking about Locke and Key. So Locke and Key is a Netflix TV show, but it is also a graphic novel with 3 volumes, Netflix TV show, 1 season. So we're going to talk about it today because it's spooky season, and this is kind of a spooky show, spooky graphic novel, and I want you to know about it. So we're doing it. Because I am basic as pretty much all get out, I saw the Netflix TV show before I even realized that Locke and Key was a graphic novel. So I watched that first season, and I very quickly realized I was not the target audience. Gosh golly darn it, I just don't care about teenagers. And I mean, those little social problems and love triangles that aren't developed, and it's not my thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am all about a good coming of age story, dealing with mental illness, understanding family trauma, understanding cycles of abuse, understanding your place in the world. Give it to me. I want it. I love those teenage stories. What I do not love is whatever happened there on Netflix. It's like reading a YA novel, and it's like, ooh, that just did not hit at all for me. And it's sad to say that because obviously, not all YA books are like that, and not all TV shows are like that, and not all teenage stories are like that, and they don't have to be. I feel like in the show, they put a lot of emphasis on things that weren't necessarily the key points. After watching the show and not reading the graphic novels, at first I was like, okay, that was good. I think it'll get better. I think this is one of those, one of the cases where the season 1 isn't the strongest, but it has potential. It set itself up to do better, basically, okay? And I wasn't gonna hate on it for that. And then I realized it was a graphic novel, and I picked it up. I picked up volume 1 and volume 2, which is down here. So they're really cool, actually. Not just pretty cool, they're really cool. It's a hardcover. It's, wow, yeah, they're an expensive buy, but really worth it, Everything is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's in hardcover, it has maps on it, it has this beautiful cover. This is one of the main characters. This is Kinsey Locke. And they're also kind of heavy, so I'm just gonna have it lean up here. There we go. 1, 2. I don't have 3 yet, but after reading both of these and having watched the Netflix show, I feel I am confident that the Netflix show has touched on nearly nothing in volume 3. Because it barely touched on things that happened in volume 2. So before I get into any more, let's talk some characters. We have our 3 main characters who are the Locke children. It is Tyler Locke, Kinsey Locke, and Bodhi Locke. We also have their parents, Nina Locke and Rendell Locke. Rendell Locke does die very early on in both the graphic novel and in the TV show, so not too much of a spoiler there, as it sets up the whole premise of the show in the graphic novel, as is returning to their father's family home, which is Key House. There is also an Uncle Duncan Locke, who is Rendell's younger brother, so he does kind of offer some sort of insight into Rendell's life, but it is quickly discovered that he himself has kind of either blacked out memories of his own conviction, or maybe traumatic things have happened, or he just really doesn't want to talk about it. So he is a door, but a locked door. And then from there, in the TV show, they go into detail a lot about Tyler and Kinsey's friendships, about their friendship dynamics, about all the little things that they talk about and things that they do. And it's not done in a way, like, don't get me wrong, the graphic novel also sets up the fact that Kinsey and Tyler have friends and that their friendships are tested while they live at Key House. However, the focus when those scenes are being presented is not the fact that these friends and this and she said and that said and drama, drama, drama. The important part is that Kinsey and Tyler have PTSD and they struggle with feeling real after their father's death, which is a very, very important issue to be talking about, especially when their father's death sets up the whole rest of the story. But Netflix decided that teenage drama was more important. And hey, don't get me wrong, I am definitely not the target audience for Netflix's TV show of Locke and Key. But when reading the source material, I can imagine what it could have been, and it kind of gets me a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong. The movie magic that Netflix uses in it and the special effects is kind of amazing. Like, it gives me the creeps, it makes it feel magical, it really brings it all together, and it makes it something that's very fun to watch. But it's almost like they didn't want that to be the focus. They didn't want the magical and cool aspects to be the focus. They wanted the teenage drama to be the focus, and it was just disappointing. Okay, so the Locke family is just living their life, going about it, and then all of a sudden, Rendell is murdered by one of his ex-students. And this ex-student starts asking him questions about his childhood home, Key House. Where is it, and how do you get these keys, and all of this stuff. And Rendell doesn't give him any information, and so the student kills him. So because of traumatic events and because of lack of funds, Nina takes her 3 kids all the way to Key House. So after moving into Key House, it is Bodhi, the youngest of the Locke children, who actually starts to sense the magic of the house. He starts to find keys in Key House, and these keys start to do weird things. Some of them open your head, and some of them open secret doors, and gosh, the magic of the show, of watching those things happen. The show is kind of poppy. It's scary but poppy, you know? And then the graphic novel is just more dark. It's not glorified. The magic is more scary, and then the art style of the graphic novel makes it much scarier than as it is presented with the special effects in the TV show. So Netflix really had the opportunity to just kind of create something a little bit magical and a little bit their own. However, they didn't lean into the magic of Key House. They leaned into the everyday drama of teenagers, and it is everyday drama of teenagers. After Bodhi starts finding keys, this is where the graphic novel and the TV show really start to diverge. The TV show starts to focus on only a few keys, I think maybe about 5 maximum, as where the graphic novel shows many more. And so you get a lot more in the graphic novel of them fighting and having adventures and really understanding the keys and trying to understand their father's past. And in the show, it's almost as if things kind of just happen to them, because Tyler and Kinsey almost don't want to use the keys aside from for teenage drama. They don't really have adventures or do anything like they do in the graphic novels. I also wanted to point out that the actors, the child actors playing Tyler, Kinsey, and Bodhi, and even some of their friends, like, while I didn't necessarily like the teenage drama that was going on, those characters and the actors who played them were done very well. The actors really did a good job, and especially with child actors, I kind of look at them a little bit more critically. I feel like I expect them to take me out of it. I expect them to not do so well, but they really surprised me, and especially Bodhi. He's such a cute little kid, that actor, and he was really fun to watch. Bodhi, because he does find the keys first and tends to find all of them first, he is kind of our gateway into the magic and one of the main characters that we follow the most. And I really like that. Sometimes it's hard for me to follow a younger main character because they are younger and I am just getting on in my years. But it was really, really fun in the show and the graphic novel to follow Bodhi. And even in the graphic novel, it was fun to follow Kinsey and Tyler as well. They're much more well developed in the graphic novel. I feel like the TV show did the older two Locke children a great disservice. It was hard to root for them and their happiness because you rooted for Tyler and Kinsey for the TV show only because you didn't want Bodhi to be alone. And when you have three main characters, you should kind of make the majority of them likable. But I don't know, like I've said a few times, I was not the demographic for the TV show. However, I sure was the demographic for the graphic novel. Amazing. So good, so spooky, so just like horrifying. It was a mix of like magical scariness with real life horror that can happen. And it was really, it was a ride. It's one of those where the graphic novel is almost like a scary movie you watch maybe once a year because you know it's gonna scare your socks off, but it's not something you can just watch whenever, you know? It's just like that, and it has a lot of heart-pounding terror moments and, man, scary. Rough, the art style. Hang on. I'm gonna get a few pictures for you for the art style. I'm gonna try and make them spoiler-free. Okay, and then, not to mention the fact that the graphic novel, they are the designers of their own plot, okay? They're driving it, and it's like adventure all the time, okay? Okay? Gosh. I really don't want to give away anything. I just want you to see the art style, you know? Here. Let's see what we can do. Can you see the art style? Okay. And then just take a look at the front there, okay? It's super creepy. It's very interesting. It's haunting, really. It's haunting. Very haunting. So, in my last video like this, we talked about Over the Garden Wall, which I thought was two parts of the same story, if you catch my drift. Lock and Key is not like that. Netflix tried to be different and they failed to tell an intriguing story to me. And so, which was better, Lock and Key graphic novel versus the Netflix show? It is the graphic novel, hands down. But did you really expect a book fan to choose the TV show over the book? I didn't. But I'm really glad I have the graphic novels. I'm looking to get the third one as well, so I can finish up the story. It's, like I said, a very haunting masterpiece of magical horror and real-life terror, and if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. And we're at the end of this video. I hope you had a great time. Talk to me down in the comments. Have you read the graphic novel? Have you watched the TV show? What did you think? Am I completely wrong? And what did I miss from the TV show? And what should I watch if I didn't like the Lock and Key TV show? Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye!